Alright guys, so today I'll be teaching you guys how to dual boot. Um, so you might be wondering what is dual boot? So dual boot is when you have more than one OS installed on the same hard drive. So why is it useful, you might be asking? Dual boot is really useful because you won't have to format your drive or dedicate more of those drives to have a certain OS installed. This is also very useful for developers who use more than one OS. So how do I dual boot? So yeah, that I'll be explaining to you. Just watch the video and you'll learn. So what are the requirements for this? So since we're doing dual boot on VMware Workstation Pro, we will need to have a compatible Intel or AMD processor that has virtualization installed. I mean enabled. So to check if you have virtualization enabled, all you have to do is go to Task Manager, go to Performance, and you can see right here if you have it enabled or not. And if it's not enabled, there's a chance that your processor might not support it. In that case, you don't really have a choice, like unless you're using a cloud-based virtual machine. Another way you can check if you have virtualization is like some laptops or desktops don't come with virtualization enabled. You have to do that by going to BIOS and then going into advanced and then going into the CPU properties and then enable virtualization. There's many different brands of like many different brands that create like laptops and desktops. So they're gonna have a different way to get into the BIOS. But for me to get to the BIOS, since I'm using an ASUS based motherboard, I have to press F2 or delete key to get into the BIOS. So what else you will need is a Windows 10 ISO file, which we have right here. You'll also need a CentOS ISO, and then you also need VMware Workstation Pro. So the tools and application you will use will be disk management. This is recommended for beginner users because it's very beginner friendly. It has a graphical interface where you can see what you're doing. This is a management console that allows full control over the disk-based hardware recognized by Windows. So this part is for recommended for advanced users. This feature allows user to view the disk partition and change it to the user's needs using the Windows command line. This is basically the same thing as disk management, but this is more like gives you more information and you can it's like an easier way of doing it. But this is recommended for advanced user if you know how to use if you're comfortable with using CMD. And we'll also be using the Windows Store. We will be using it to install a Linux terminal on Windows for the subsystem thing. So without further ado, let's open up VMware Workstation Pro. Let's go create a new virtual machine. Let's go typical. Let's do browse, and then I'm gonna go into my ISO and select Windows, and then let's install. So see users, I want to make sure, since I'm installing to my SSD, I'm gonna make sure I install it over here. So I'm gonna make another folder. I call it Windows. I'm gonna install it right there. So it asks me right now for 60 gig, but I'm only gonna do 40. So since we're doing dual boot, I'm gonna dedicate 20 to the CentOS and then 20 to Windows. So let's see. No, we're storing as virtual. Actually, let's do display. Why not? Let's do that. And then now we're gonna customize hardware. So you should always do this because you want to use most of your hardware, or like the power of your hardware. So by default it's set to 2048, but since I have 16 gigabyte, I'm gonna set to 4096. So that means I'm just allocating about 4 gigs of RAM, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and then everything else seems fine. And yeah, I'm just gonna press enter. So 4 gig is set. So now we're gonna press finish. So we'll let that create. You might be seeing this is going pretty fast, but it actually depends on the hardware you have. If if you have a lower end hardware, it might take a bit longer. But since I have decent hardware, it shouldn't take me that long. So just finishing up here. So yeah, so Windows 10 is created, so it automatically powering on for me. So press any key to boot from the timeout. EFI network. What's happening? So let me just power off. Let me just power off the system, and we'll reboot ourselves. Let me switch this from network, adapt it to bridged. That will make it better. So let's power it on now. Okay. So what we're gonna do is power off, and we're gonna select the ISO image. Should work. Oh no, it's not taking me in. So let's press. Okay, there you go. All right. So we're in the setup screen right now. So we're gonna select, since I'm in Canada, I'm gonna find English Canada and keyboard and put a thing. Okay, so let's install now. So this is gonna take a while depending on your. We'll just do product key later. So we're gonna install education, and I'll enter the product key later, so it's fine. So accept the terms. Let's do custom. And we have 4G. Just want to select that and let that start. All right. So the speed of this is gonna depend all on your SSD or hard drive. So I'll just let this run. So almost done here. We're at 77%. Alright, so installing the updates right now. Yeah, I shouldn't have to install a lot of updates because when I installed it, when I got the ISO, I got it today, so that means I was up to the latest, firmware stuff. So I'm just gonna let this reboot. Taking pretty long. All right. So okay. Okay, so I'm going to select Canada. We're going to select the US for the keyboard. We'll skip this. And some, okay. All right. Alright, so we're not gonna set this up right now. We're gonna do join as domain instead. So I'm just gonna name it. And then I'm just gonna give no password. Doesn't really need it, sorry. And then I'm gonna say no, cause last time I tried doing this, it didn't go that well. So yeah. We're just gonna ask you for a lot of permissions. We're just gonna decline it because we want to give as limited information to Windows as possible. So we just select no, basic, no, and then just set it up. Okay, so we should be in a few seconds. Also, make sure that whatever you do not like close the power of the VM at this point, because if you do, something might have gone wrong. You might have to restart this entire process again, and that's very annoying because it could take a while. So I just let it do its thing. It shouldn't take that long, and we'll be in Windows soon enough. So guys, a quick tip. So when you're using VMware, sometimes you won't see your mouse. Like if you click on the thing, sometimes you won't see on the mouse. So you can just press Control and Alt, and it should give you your mouse back. All right, so we're in Windows. Everything is ready. Searching for new drivers. We don't care about that. So what we're gonna do is now go into Discord. This management. Then we'll see. We have like 39 gigabytes available, so that's more than good. All right. So now what we're gonna do is so let's look at disk manager right now. So we see right here that our C drive has 39 gigs of storage, and we can do shrink volume. This is for beginners. I'm not gonna do it through this way because you guys, this should be pretty straightforward how to do it. Just shrink it to whatever you want, and yeah. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna use this part, advanced user. So what we're gonna do is go into CMD. We're gonna do this part, and then we're gonna use. So we're gonna use list volume. So we see all the volume we have here. So our C drive right here is 39. So we're gonna use the command select volume and then the whatever volume we want to edit. So since we want to edit volume 2, we're gonna do select volume 2. So it says volume 2 is selected. So now you're gonna do is type. So you'll type shrink desired. Desired equals. So you're gonna type the amount of space you want. So I wanted to set it to 20,000 because it's all allocated. This is all like controlled in megabytes, and then we're gonna do minimum, and then equals to amount of space you want. So minimum equals 20,000. So we do enter. So this part successfully shrank the volume by 19 gigabytes. So we can double check that by. What's happening here? So we can double check by list volume. You'll see 19 gigabytes right here, and we can also close all this. We can go into disk management. We see 19.5 okay, that's the one we're going to be using for our CentOS. So let's shut this down because we're all done with that. So now the dual boot process. So we're going to be part of the VM, and now we're going to select over here, and then we're going to browse, and then we're going to select CentOS. After we select CentOS, we're gonna hit apply, and then since we're using VirtualBox, we can use the power and choose the power onto firmware. Because if you do this on a physical system, you would have to go into BIOS and then do some stuff there, and then select it, and then install from there. But VMware Workstation made it easier for us because we can just do power and we can just go directly onto the firmware. So we're gonna select this option, and then we're gonna install CentOS Linux. All right. So let that do its thing. Oh no. Okay. Testing. Okay. So yeah, this is gonna take a while depending on your SSD and how fast it is. So yeah, so we're gonna select English Canada, and we're gonna continue, and then we're gonna automate destination select. We're gonna select this one and done. Okay, so did that. So I'm gonna begin installation. So this is gonna take a while. So let's just set the root password right now. So I'm just gonna set it as 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that one is too short. Okay. Doesn't really matter. So we're just gonna it's done. Use the password. Done. Okay, so we have that ready. So while that's installing, I'm going to talk to you about the Windows subsystem. So what is it? The Windows subsystem is a compatibility layer for running the Linux terminal. So what are its features, you may be wondering? The features are that you can run Linux-based OS like CentOS, Ubuntu, Kali, and Debian through the command line. So, let's wait for this to install. I'll just test. Alright, so we're all good. Just gonna wait for this to go. So yeah, this is gonna take a while. I'll leave timestamps on the description so you guys can skip this part and just watch all the important parts you need to see. While I wait for this, let me just connect this to a power source so I don't lose halfway. So I'm just gonna move this right here. Cool. So it's installing the bootloader right now, and should be done soon enough. Also, guys, I highly recommend doing this on an SSD because using a traditional hard drive is very slow, and it's gonna take forever. So you should really try to do these things on SSD. So as we can see right now, we have CentOS, Windows, and then, so let's just go into CentOS. To show you guys that's actually installed, and then we'll jump back into Windows. This is market. Press Finish configuration. All right, great. So we're in the root system. So yeah, everything's here. We can go into terminal. Can do who or root ls. We can check everything, and yeah, it's good to go. So now, what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna worry about. Sure, why not just set it up? Location service on. Skip. Okay. So you guys can watch the tutorial if you guys want, but I'm not gonna watch it. So now let's just power off. So I'll teach you guys a little quick command. So if you guys do power off, you can just get out there and then we'll just power on the virtual machine again. Oops. Oh, what's happening? What's going on? Yeah. Custom current state. Oh boy. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna, since that's happening, just gonna go in here. We're gonna look for virtual machine, Vmware. We're just gonna end task. Okay. Okay. So now we're gonna select the Windows. So as you can see, it boots up. All is well. All right. So now while it's booting up, so I'm gonna talk to you about. So I'm gonna do the subsystem. So what we're gonna do is as soon as it boots up. So here you see it's booting up. So what we're gonna do is on the Windows search box, type Windows features and enable Windows Subsystem Linux. So we're gonna go here, Windows, what was it? Windows features, right. Okay, so we're gonna get a list. We're gonna go down until we see Windows Subsystem for Linux. We're gonna press OK. So it's gonna apply the changes and everything, and it's gonna ask for a restart. So we're just gonna restart it. So yeah, so after the reboot, we're gonna go to the Microsoft Store and search for Linux, and we're gonna install any distribution. So we can install CentOS, Debian, Ubuntu, and many other Linux-based systems. So with doing this, you are limited with some features, but you should still have the basic commands that you can use and just practice. So what we're gonna do now is go into Microsoft, and what we're gonna do first is go to CMD and just type bash to see no distributions installed, just to double check. I'm just gonna, since for this one I'm gonna type Linux, and then I'm just gonna install Ubuntu. So this is the correct one. Looks about correct. Okay, so let's just get this. No. Can we install this too? Or what? Alright, perfect. So yeah, this will depend on your internet connection, but I'm using a Wi-Fi adapter, which is not the best. So it's gonna take a while. Also, if you guys are wondering what recording thing I'm using, so I'm using OBS to record all my videos. I'll leave a link in the description below about everything I used, including the ISO files, the recording software, and yeah, and even the VMware workstation where you can get it from. Just saying, I have VMware workstation for free because I'm a student, but your one may vary. If you're a student, your school might offer this program, like this software, but if you're not a student, you might have to buy it. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait for this to install. Do. So yeah, almost done here. So yeah, installing, and that's good. All right, good to go. So we're just gonna press launch. So it's installing. It's gonna take a few minutes. That's fine. So more waiting. Yeah, I'll just leave description. I'll just leave the timestamps on the bottom so you guys don't have to like go through this because I'm pretty sure it gets boring just watching it install and stuff. But if you guys do want to watch it, I mean, well, by all means. But yeah, for the people that don't want to watch the installation process and everything, they just want to get the information and just go. I'll leave timestamps at the bottom, so it's easier for you. Do. Alright, so let's just say test. Alrighty, so we're in. We can do ls, we can do cd, we can do tree, and oh, tree is not front, okay. So we can, yeah, as you can see, we can install thing as well. So, alright, so that's everything. So you know everything is working. So if you just want to access this again, do is type Ubuntu. Should take you right here. So yeah, everything works. So let's just do a quick command. So since we don't have anything, we can go cd. We can do touch test 1. So we can do ls. So we can do nano test 1 test. We can do, and then we can do cat test 1. So yeah, works. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye. Alright guys, so I forgot to include a quick introduction to Linux partitions, so I'm just going to do that right now. So we see that if we use the fdisk-l command, it shows us all the partitions in the hard drive or in the SSD. So I'm just going to keep on the side. So fdisk-l. So here we can see everything that's being allocated. So we see that the Windows recovery environment is taking up 529 megabytes, EFI 90 megabytes, 16 megabytes for Microsoft, and this is the Windows that we have, 19.9 as we set it to, and this is the Linux VM that we have right now, and this is for the Linux file systems that we set to, because this was both supposed to be 19, similar to 19, so this is supposed to be 9, but then it's taking up by, this is supposed to be 19 because we set it to, we parted it to 19, but then since 1 gigabyte is being taken out from Linux system, that's why it's showing 18.5 gigabytes. And if you want to look deeper into it, we can also use the commands like sfdisk-l to show partitions on a hard drive, but in megabytes. But you can also you can just use this one, doesn't matter. So you can also use, so if you want to see the Linux partition manager with the user interface, let's say user interface, so all you have to do is cfdisk, and we can see right here all the thing. We can use our arrow keys to go up and down. And then you can use your mouse, not mouse, I mean your keyboard, left and right arrow keys to select right and resize. All right, and then I'm just gonna quit this, and then we can look at df.h, which shows us partition details. It doesn't really show us everything about partition, but just shows the details like in percentage. So df-h, so we can see how much is being used up from the entire drive, because we have 40 gigabytes in total, right? So this is being used by 25%, this is 34%, and yeah. Okay, and then we can do ls blk to list all the storage blocks. So ls blk. So we can see all the storage blocks here. So yeah, that's pretty much the Linux partitions. Thank you.